my students. Today I'm going to explain our grammar lesson, nouns, the countable and uncountable nouns. The first of countable and uncountable. Countable nouns, things that I can count. 1, 2, or 3, or 4, I can count them. Like for example, I have here 3 oranges and 2 oranges, so I can count them. The countable nouns, I have singular, which is a plus noun if I have only one noun, and I have plural if they are more than one. So if I look at this picture, I have a potato, and these pictures potatoes, more than one. So the countable can be singular or plural. What about the picture that you have? This one is uncountable nouns. Why they are uncountable nouns? Because they are things that I can't count. Can you count the rice in front of you? What about this picture? Is it countable or uncountable? What do you think? It's countable. We love to read books. So books the word books is countable, but books, all of them, they are countable. What about sugar? What do you think? Sugar is countable or uncountable? It's uncountable. So I have to say, please pass the salt or the sugar. The salt or the sugar is uncountable. I can't count them. What about this picture? Chairs. Is it countable or uncountable? Yes, it's countable. So what can I say? We need some chairs. Okay. Now if I have singular countable, I'll say like this one, there is a mango. I have an egg, it's only one. What about if I say there are some apples? I have some eggs, so it's plural countable. What about there is some sugar? Sugar is countable or uncountable? No, it's uncountable. He has some bread. Bread is countable or uncountable? Uncountable. So I use some with the plural countable or the uncountable. Look at this one. What do you think? I can say a or an or some. I'll say a for singular countable. So there is a banana in the recipe. So it's only one banana. It's singular countable. So that's why I used a. About this one. It's uncountable noun. So I'll say there is some ice cream in the fridge. What about this one? It's uncountable noun. So I'll use some. I'll say I need some water to wash my hands. I can't say I need a water. If I have unspecific quantity, for example, I don't say a liter or something like this. So I'll say I'd like some juice, or I'd like a glass of juice. A glass of juice means a specific quantity, but if I'm speaking about an unspecific quantity, I'll use some. So I use some in the affirmative sentence. There is some money, like this. Any, I use it in the negative and interrogative. Interrogative means a question form. So I'll say, is there any money? No, there isn't. Or there isn't any money. So some, I use it in the affirmative only, while any, I use it in the question or the negative. Okay, let's practice about some and any. I'll say what? I need some time to study. But if I'm going to put any, I'll say what? I don't have any time to study. There is some cheese. If I want to say any, I'll say there isn't any cheese. There aren't any horses in the field. It's empty, so there aren't, it's negative, so I put any. I can't put some. Okay, what about how much or how many? I use with the uncountable nouns and how many with the countable nouns. This one. That's how many or how much. I'll say how many or how much cars are there. I'll say how many cars are there because cars are countable. I can count them. Okay, so the answer should be there are 6 cars, for example. Okay, what about sugar? I'll say how much or how many sugar is there. I'll say how much because sugar is uncountable. So I'll say, for example, there are 3 spoons of sugar. What about pictures? How much or how many pictures are there? How many pictures? Because I can count them. So I'll say how many pictures are there. I'll say what the answer. There are 6 pictures. Okay, what about milk? I'll say how much or how many milk is there. Milk is what? Is it countable or uncountable? It's uncountable. So I use what? How much. So I'll say, what's the answer? There are 2 boxes of milk. Okay, let's do this with each other. There isn't sugar in my coffee. So I'll say there isn't what? I have negative. I said if I have negative or question, interrogative, I put any. So I'll say there isn't any sugar in my coffee. What about number 2? There are oranges in the fridge. So I'll say there are some oranges in the fridge. Number 3, there aren't, it's negative. So I'll say there aren't any tomatoes on the table. Number 4, there is aisle in the kitchen. So it's affirmative. I'll say there is some aisle in the kitchen. Number 5, there is orange juice. It's affirmative. I'll say there is some orange juice. Thank you, my students. I hope you enjoyed our lesson today. After you watch the video, please answer the questions in the worksheet. Thank you so much.